Channeling, December 18th, 2017. First question. What's in store in the next 3 years? How is our focus changing for the next 3 years from what it has been in the past few years? The change is a subtle one. You're slightly shifting the way you learn what you need to know to carry you forward. And so, for example, for you, if your learning the past several years has been centered around home, family, children, this has been a way to focus your learning. It's just a tool. And so for you specifically in the next few years, you're learning about more spiritual things, more esoteric teachings. And it is true you'll do these around work-related projects. What people would call work, it will be what you enjoy doing, however. Just like the home and family relationship was what you started and what you wanted to focus on at the beginning of the last series or period. But we see a bigger jump, a bigger acceleration in understanding regarding things that are out there that you had not fully understood, that you've just begun to explore. As a whole, we would also say the next 3 years will center around people clearing blocks from their understanding, so that when the time comes, people will understand the changes that have occurred or are occurring. Is it true that the ascension of the galaxy, or of all, depends on those of us on Earth creating it? Like we have to create ascension here on Earth for everybody else to ascend as well. Is that true? Ascension is a process that many of us understand from our differing perspectives. And so it's easy for us to make any adjustments necessary and make the decisions necessary to step up, so to speak, to the next level. You on Earth are in a self-imposed, we would not want to say darkness, that implies negative. You're in a self-imposed enclosure. You're in an enclosure that doesn't allow you to step outside and see the bigger picture. And so it has been more difficult for you to even say you want to step up. For those of you who do know that you want to step up to the next level, you may not even know what that level is. from our perspective, we can see what the next level is. We get it. We know what it is, and we're ready, and we are making the adjustments or decisions to get there, to step into it. However, so many on earth don't even know there is another level, or they sense another level, but they don't trust. They don't trust their senses. They don't trust their own abilities. So that is why there is help available. That is why so many people are being drawn to be spiritual leaders or spiritual, we would say informants, but again, that has negative connotations. Spiritual teachers, spiritual guides, people like yourself who are wanting to share any little tidbits they get with the world for anybody who happens across them. So, in a sense, yes, we are not precisely waiting for those on earth to figure out they can step into this new understanding. And yes, we would all like to be there. However, as all are one, we have agreed on some level to wait for Earth and for that process to complete. And so we would say, we personally, those of us speaking to you, are not anxious to rush the process. However, we know, those of you on earth who feel this step up is there and you are ready for it, are frustrated because you cannot step up without everyone else stepping up as well. And so you want the quick fix. But we would say, there is no rush. We know that is also frustrating. However, we can do this in stages. You can step up and understand, and then you can help the next level step up and understand, and it will come in waves, and it will be exponential. Each wave will grab more people, so to speak. And so we would say, do this in a way that is the most fun for you, because that will have the most effect. Do not go out to try to bring others into ascension by force, either by forcing them or by forcing yourself to do something you hate to get to the end result. That will not help. It will not create the movement any faster. We will get there. We will get there in time. Some other beings are more anxious for you to hurry up and finish than we are. It depends on your focal point, where you're at, where are you looking at this ascension process from. And we can see from past experience and from the perspective we're at, that it is all in perfect timing, and there is no, it should have already happened, or it's not going quickly enough. To others' viewpoints, it isn't going quickly enough. And certainly to your viewpoint, it is not going quickly enough. But we promise it is still unfolding, and it will happen, because there are those above us who tell us it has occurred. And so it will, from your perspective, occur. What are we on earth not doing that we absolutely must do to bring about ascension as quickly as possible? You must stop beating yourselves up. You must lighten up. You must do more of what you love. You must invent from a place of excitement. Innovations. Your innovations must come from a place of excitement and curiosity and not requirement. You must share your happiness and enthusiasm with others so that you may be an example and they may do the same thing, and it will spread in this way. And you must not have a sense of urgency. Everything is fine and everything will unfold, and there's no worry about a specific occurrence, a specific event that is coming, that if we don't get something done by this time, it'll all be for naught. That's not helpful. So live from a place of excitement and joy and sharing and wonder, and that is really all you need to do. Everything else works itself out if you stay in those places. Can you please show me what's in store for our future, including the deeper meanings for the next, in 5 years, and 10 years, and 20 years? Or tell me, or show me, or both. In 5 years, we see new structures, new foundations in place. These are structures and foundations that will bring about the kinds of changes you've been wanting to see. These include the technological innovations that you have assumed have existed, and you have assumed this because you are connected to the bigger picture and you knew what was coming. You knew the things that were possible. You knew them based on your experiences from past lifetimes, past dimensions, past lifetimes and other dimensions. So you have been looking for free energy, and you know it's possible. You have been looking for technology to move heavy objects with frequency and motion and sound. Okay. And you have understood that in a technological way, if you wish to do this technologically, healing can occur also with frequency, light, and sound. And so the foundations of these things, though they have already been laid, they will be, at 5 years, they will be starting to be, the foundations will be starting to be laid in mainstream ways in hospitals and things. So these technologies will begin to have foundations in 5 years. In 10 years, new understandings will be in place, will be starting to happen, will be understood. The political system will not be a political system any longer. It will be a series of agreements and councils. current system in the U.S. with Senate, House, President, although it seems that there are just enough stages, there will be more councils, more groups. This is counterintuitive to your way of thinking now. However, when people's understandings have shifted, as will have occurred in 10 years, local councils will send their advice to the next, maybe a state council, if states are still in existence, or are in existence in your area, not just the United States. So, excuse me. So local councils will send their advice. This is the only way we can put it. They will send their advice to the next bigger council. That council will send their advice to the regional council. The regional council will send their advice to the larger whole council. That council will put their understanding of the consensus of all in with the world's council. And so changes will be made in this way. And instead of votes, people who wish to participate will participate in local councils. And there's no fear surrounding this because these councils are heart-centered. People want the best for their hometowns, their neighborhoods, their cities, and as you go up and up, and there will not be the corruption or jockeying for benefits. There will not be this kind of understanding anymore in 10 years. 20 years. A lot more peace, a lot more help going to those. There has been and at the 20-year point, there has been so much more help going to those areas of the world where they do not even have the basic resources. They do not have food, water, shelter. And the world has understood the abundance of resources they have at their disposal, and they have en masse sent resources, people, time, skill, food, water, systems. Everything has gone to these certain areas. And I'm seeing specifically like in Africa. Africa is one of the biggest places where change is happening. And I'm seeing a lot of green in Africa where there shouldn't be green. So yes, there will be the innovations that have started in the Western culture at 5 years have spread by 20 years and even 10 years into areas that would never have expected these things. In these ways, you will realize that you are connected all to each other. And so at the 20-year point, there has really, really been a massive change in the consciousness for the good. Our question, are twin flames reuniting at this time for the purpose of working toward ascension? And if so, in what way? Yes. as you are finding balance within yourself, you are finding the balance outside of yourself. And so, this is how the connection is created. When you connect to, let's say, a soul that you have spent many incarnations with, or many time off world with, or have been in other systems with, other incarnations outside of the earth incarnations, and you have agreed with that energy, just as you are energy, that different energy, you have agreed to come here, recognize the connection, and in recognizing that connection, you then can turn and recognize that connection to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. It's a trigger and a chain reaction. When you meet twin flame, we do not like this term, for it has physical romantic connotations. This is for our purposes, we are speaking to the connection of what you would call soul connection to a soul partner, so to speak, for the purpose of understanding a very, very deep soul energy frequency connection. Because when that is triggered, then you can start to see this connection in all people and all things. And you may not feel as connected to the others, because this is the one you have agreed on has to be strong enough to trigger the memory, to trigger the feeling, to trigger the emotion, to trigger the understanding. So you may not feel this connection as strongly, but you will start to see this connection in others. And everyone that has that will start triggering other people. And you will use your words and you will use your actions, because this is how it works on Earth. And it just creates this chain reaction. And eventually the chains connect, and it's a whole network of this understanding of how connected you are to each other. So yes, the so-called twin flame partnership is for the purpose of creating a feeling of deep connection in order to trigger a chain reaction in all souls, all energies on the earth at this time.